How's it going, guys? Well, welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Steinsgate Linear Bounded Phenogram, where we are wrapping up the story, I think. Either this episode or next episode, I'm thinking is going to be the end, because we're getting pretty close to what I feel is going to be the finale, which is going to be Na sending a D-mail. But we had a bit of a complication last time, you see. Whilst they were able to get into the Braun Tube workshop from the floor above, it looks like the big 42-inch CRT is broken. But Nai's been trying to fix it, and hopefully she's going to be able to produce something. However, Daru apparently needed to leave for something he said was really important. And we got separated from him immediately, trying to distract an agent from being able to to see him, like almost right away. And then we spent this entire day looking for Daru and could not find him. And Nai was really running around with feelings of helplessness and darkness, feeling that she had somehow failed again and was being left behind again, and that after all that effort she was still not going to find any answers to what had happened before, why her dad had passed away, like why he did what he did, where all these people who she cared about just went and vanished randomly on her. And so she's been kind of in despair, and then she happens to spy him sitting out in the open here. And I have a terrible feeling that he had just went to Kamima, and that was what his big important mission was just to go and get some Kamima material, because he hadn't been able to go for a couple of years. And that's going to be really, really annoying if that's the case. But we decided to end it there just because I wanted to have a talk about, the importance of mental health and like the how much I could relate with Nai, like my own personal struggles. The thoughts are so similar. Again, it's another highlight of the fact that the writer has a good understanding of the struggles of dealing with like some of the darker sides and emotions of humanity. Again, props to that. So let's figure out what on earth he was so desperate to find and what we risked ourselves for. I instinctively run up to him.
Oh, Nai-chan-shi.
I was searching so desperately for him, but he greets me without the slightest hint of concern. But as I said this, I realized that there was someone with Daru. Someone I'd never seen. Definitely not a lab mem. He's wearing a classy suit like a big shot salaryman, but he doesn't seem that much older than Daru. He has sharp eyes and kind of reminds me of a snake. Who is this? In his hand is a bank envelope. Who is this man? Is he the person Daru was talking to on the phone before leaving? Just based on the atmosphere here, that doesn't seem to be the case. Daru says this, I assume, to end the conversation. The snake man hands Daru the envelope without saying a word. He stands up, then, after taking a glance at me, bows slightly and walks off. Despite Daru shouting this, the snake man doesn't even look back, disappearing in the direction of the station. He didn't even try to say anything. It was a little creepy. What was this? Huh. A collaborator. Daru ends his explanation there and stands up in a hurry. He looks around and starts walking off swiftly as if I'm not even here. I can understand why he's in a hurry, given that the agents are after him, but it's like he ignored me, and it is pretty hurtful.
連絡欲しかった。電話して合流するって話だったでしょ。2時間ぐらいあちこち探したんだけど、見つからなくて、ラボで待ってたの。私の方から連絡できなかったのはごめんなさい。携帯に連絡先を登録したとき、番号を間違えちゃったみたいで。
そうなん？どれ？
Daru appears at my cell phone screen. I showed him the number.
ごめんごめん。それ教えた僕の方が間違ってたわ。
Okay.
いやー、最近携帯の番号しょっちゅう変えてるから、自分でちっとも覚えられんつうか。
Oh, not a simple mistake. I mean, an unbelievable one. Like, burner phones are a thing, and imagine that it's tough to keep up with everything. Why?
させん。あ、許せないって言うなら、後で踏んづけてもらっても OK だお。心置きなくやろう。
Uh-huh. That's just, you... Daru, come on!
どうしてそんなに軽いの？
The words virtually slip out. Daru doesn't seem to notice my muttering and checks the inside of the envelope while walking. I almost trip when I see what's in there. That's a lot of money. Hundreds of 10,000 yen notes. Dang. I've only seen bundles of cash like that in manga and on TV.
それって。
中野で合流するための資金だお。
Nakano fun? Nakano?
やっぱさ、文化的な潤いがないと人間って腐っていくっつうか。あ、ここで言う腐るってのは不女子的な意味じゃないんで。
Right.
とにかく僕はそろそろ我慢ならなくなってたわけ。電話レンジ作ってる場合じゃねえって。とにかくこの2年近く全くチェックできてない新作エロゲをプレイしたりとか、エロ同人買い漁ったりとか、アニメ全話視聴マラソンとかしたいんだお。
So he kind of was, but he doesn't need that much money for that, right?
でもお金なんて全くないっしょ。だからこうしてカンパしてくれる協力者に来てもらったってわけ。
Okay.
そのために。
そうそう。そのために今日は出かけたんだお。
All of that work just for this?
どうして？
あ、なちゃんしないちゃんし。この札束持ってさ、ちょっと僕の頬を叩いてくんない？一度やられたかった。
Shut your face.
どうして？
え？
どうしてふざけるの？どうして？
Yeah. My vision blurs. He's looking at me like I'm the one causing him trouble. I get even angrier at him. I was crying before I realized it.
教えてもらわなくてもわかるよ。わかってるよ。ダルおじさんにとって私はどうでもいい存在なんだ。仲間でもなくてラボメンでもなくて、ただの部外者だもんね。ただの知り合いだもんね。
Fetch.
でも私だって好きでただの知り合いになったわけじゃない。
Dang.
一人で戻ってこない人を待つのはもう嫌なのに、私は当事者になりたいのに。
Daru, come on! Pick up the hints! Well, it's not even hints, she's just telling you. Just listen to her.
真面目な話をすることも許してもらえないなんて。
Yeah.
もういい
よ。
Aww. I wipe my tears with the back of my hand.
私、もうお父さんのビルには行きません。足手まといみたいなのでやめます。
Aww.
だからどこにでも一人で行っちゃえばいいんだ。
I said all that was all there was to say. I run off in the opposite direction from Daru. I didn't even look back.
なえ、遅いにゃ。どれだけ心配したと。ごめんなさい。
Hmm.
なえ。
Making sure to avoid eye contact with Rumio, I rush into my room. Once I'm inside, I curl up in the corner of my bed. I'm tired. Between Daru and my exams, I haven't gotten any decent sleep for an entire week. I'll take the day off school tomorrow just to sleep. Then I'll get back to my regular life. I'll go back to spending every day with the wonderful people of the Akiya family. That's the life of the 13-year-old Tennoji Nai. I shouldn't associate myself with such a strange animal. It's better this way. Thinking about today's events made me start crying again. I hurry to bury my face into my knees.
なえ、入るよ。
I didn't tell her it was okay to enter, but Romeo comes right into the room and sits next to me on the bed.
どう
Aww.
したの？何かあった？
Big sister Romeo, aka Faris. Faris is best! Faris does the best! I shake my head, still hiding my face. But,
嘘。泣いてたよ。
of course. Not that she needs her special ability to tell that.
泣いてない。
Uh-huh.
泣いてた。泣いてない。じゃあ、顔上げてみて。
I can't do that.
ルミホお姉ちゃん、いつものニャンニャン語はどうしたの？
Mm-hmm.
それを言わないお姉ちゃんは、お姉ちゃんじゃないよ。覚えてる？私が苗を見つけた時も、そんな風に泣きべそかいてたね。
Aww.
一緒に来る？一緒においで。あの時みたいに私を頼ってもいいんだよ。
Yeah, you can.
辛いって苦しいって言ってもいいんだよ。
Aww. Romeo gently strokes my head. She rests my head on her shoulder and I feel her warmth. I'm not going to be able to hold back my tears.
ルミホお姉ちゃん、私は当事者になりたい。
Mm-hmm.
当事者？先週ダルおじさんを見つけて。そう。だから最近ダルニャンのことをいろいろ聞いてきたんだね。
Interesting. Let's see what she says. I nod and tell Romeo everything that's happened over the last week, getting caught up in my emotions several times along the way. The whole time, she kept gently rubbing my back. Thanks to her warmth, I felt a lot better by the time I finished the story.
未来ガジェット研究所の活動か。
Mm-hmm.
そんなことしてたんだね。私は一生懸命頑張ったけど、やっぱりダルおじさんは私のこと信じてくれてなかったみたい。
Hmm.
もちろんダルおじさんと私は2年前も仲が良かったわけじゃないし、私はまだ中学生で頼りにならないのは分かってるけど。
To be fair, it's not like they were much better off when they were caught up in all the insanity. Not that they know all of it.
やっぱり一人だけ置いていかれたくなんてないよ。置いていかれたのは苗一人じゃないよ。
Oh, Fetch, are you serious? That makes so much sense though, because like they all got spirited away, like Daru, Okabe, Kurisu, they were sent to freaking Europe, and they probably had no means of contacting anybody else. It kind of makes you forget about like Faris, Lukako, you know, all the other lab mems and friends. Even Moeka, though I'm sure she's not doing very well either. I mean, technically she's slated to die in this world line too, right? Like, she died as well. After hearing these unexpected words, I look at Rumiyo's face. She's smiling, but her smile looks so sad.
私も置いていかれちゃったから。
That's right. Rumio was a lab mem too. She must have had much deeper ties to them than I ever did. But she's here now, living her life in Akihabara. She didn't go away. Also, till I told her just now, she had no idea Daru was back in Akihabara. It seemed like she didn't hear anything from Daru or Okarin.
苗はどうして当事者になりたいの？
I don't know.
置いていかれたくないから。海穂お姉ちゃんだって、みんなに置いていかれて悲しかったでしょ？
Yeah, I bet.
私は悲しかった。何も知らないでいた自分。何も教えてもらえなかった自分。お父さんにも、誰にも、信じてもらえてなかった自分。
Oh man, I totally get why she thinks that, but it's so like obvious that that's not what happened. Like, it's not that no one trusted her. She was so young, and there's so much big things happening. And it's sad because it's like her dad, like, it's so sad to imagine, like, someone like him, especially someone who cared about her so much, like a dad leaving her behind. But, like, it was the only way to keep her out of the clutches of the Rounders, who I'm sure up to that point were actively using the threat of violence against her, against him. He couldn't let them have a weapon, like, over her, just like they had used her over him. And that was why he did it. He did it because he had no other way of trying to keep her and Moeka safe. I don't think it worked for Moeka, but it was his only real way of preventing them from, like, just taking everything else he had ever cared about. What a choice.
そういう自分が嫌だった。私がもっとちゃんとしてたら、もっと大人だったら、置いていかれることはなかったのかなって、今でも思ってる。違うよ、苗。何も教えてもらえなかったのは、苗が信じてもらえなかったんじゃなくて、苗がちゃんと守られていたからだよ。
Yeah.
守られていた？少なくとも、苗のお父さんは、苗を守るために亡くなったんだと思う。
Oh, I'm actually amazed that she knows this.
2年前、あなたのお父さんが、あの日、自分で命を絶ったあの日ね、私のパパのところを訪ねてきたんだよ。
Oh, that makes a lot more sense now.
どんな話をしたのかは、私は立ち会わなかったから、はっきりとはわからないけれど、苗のことを頼むって、苗のことばかり心配していたって、パパはそう言ってたわ。
Oh, Thatch though.
あなたのお父さんは、誰かに追われているみたいだった。だからきっと、苗を巻き添えにしないために。そんなの、勝手だよ。親というのはそういうものだって、私のパパが言ってた。
Yeah.
自分の子供を危険な目に遭わせないためなら、どんなことでもするんだって。
Yeah, you will. Hopefully. Hopefully. And I believe it 110%.
それに、友達だって、そう。
Yeah. Rumio pauses there and sadly smiles.
大事な友達を危ないことに巻き込まないようにするために、本当のことを黙っていたり、優しい嘘をついたりするの。
Oh, Okabe became the king of white lies, didn't he?
そういうことができる友達を持つことができたら、それはとっても幸せなことなんだよ。
Even if you're left behind. I wonder if that's how Rumio feels about the lab mems who disappeared.
私は2年前、当事者じゃなくてよかったって、今は思ってる。あの頃、京馬の様子がおかしかったことは、なんとなく気づいてたけど。
Right. Kyoma. That was the weird name that Uncle Unkari gave himself.
もし、私が彼と同じ立場だったら、心が壊れちゃっていたと思う。
I wonder if she knows about the time leaping.
守ってくれたみんなに、感謝しているわ。寂しそうな顔、してるのに。私の中では、感謝と寂しさは矛盾してないの。
Yeah. Yeah, they're not exclusive to each other.
どうして？
I don't understand how she can feel both.
寂しくて、胸の奥がちょっぴりジュクジュク痛むのはね。その人の記憶を自分の心の深くにしっかりと刻んでる最中だから。
That's true.
心っていうキャンバスに消えない鉛筆で一生残る傷をつけてるの。
Dang. It's really, really poetic right there. It's a really cool translation. The translations in this game have been meh most of the time. That one's really pretty.
私の心にも。そう。その傷はね、いつかかさぶたになって、それからお花が咲くんだよ。かさぶたからお花は咲かないよ。本当に？苗は見たことない？
Okay, sure.
ない。私はあるよ。あるような気がする。夢だったかもしれないけど。
Maybe, but still.
苗の心にもちゃんと咲くよ。お花。
It's actually funny because it's something that's come up before, and I wish I knew the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a Japanese art. I don't know if it's exclusively Japanese, but I do remember Japanese has a specific name for it. It's like the beauty of shattered things. Like it's to take something like a ceramic, like usually it's used as like an old teapot or tea set, a family heirloom of some kind that shatters and breaks or chips, and the art form is using gold leaf as a part of a sealant that you add to delicately gather up all the pieces and reassemble them, and creating something more beautiful from the pieces of something that had broken. And like that there's this whole like style and format of art and like dedicated craftsmanship to reforging what was broken, and it's something far greater, beautiful, stronger comes from that shattering. What once would be considered like an ill omen or a stroke of bad luck or the destruction of something precious becomes something far greater than the sum of its parts, because of the loving dedication of gathering the pieces and refitting them and refusing them together into something far better than what it was. And that's kind of reminding me of like the sentimentality that Faris is talking about here. She's talking about how there's beauty in the pain of the past, that the pain isn't exclusive to itself, that often that pain is coming from a source that's far greater, more impactful, and more meaningful. In this case, that while it hurts to have been left behind, to acknowledge that those who were left behind are being left behind to protect them, to keep them from being caught up in the pain of what was going on. And that just because it hurts doesn't mean that it can't be a source of strength and determination. And Nai is a great example of that. She's using her pain and the feeling of being left out to motivate her to do something drastic, to helping Daru, trying to send an email. Maybe these are motivated out of selfish desires. That's probably true, and that's perfectly reasonable. But she wasn't being selfish as in demanding for her father to come back, or wishing for something that isn't real. Instead, she wanted to just become a part of what had been such a big magnitude of her life. She didn't want to feel like she was impotent anymore. She's using the pain and pushing herself forward, and trying to be somebody and something that she can hardly even comprehend right now. There's really something beautiful in the idea that the pains and the sacrifices and the loss that we experience end up being a kind of refiner's fire that can forge us into something greater than we were before. There's something very poetic about the idea And like it's something you see in literature all the time. The theme of like something that was whole, then broken, reforged into something greater. I can't help but think about Lord of the Rings too, and Daru, Flame of the West, the sword that was broken upon the battlefield against Sauron, the Dark Lord, and how when Sauron was rising again over 1,000 years after the initial fight, that the blade that once had been used against him was reforged with magic and used and created into something far greater, where its excellent history fused into the blade and became the new hope and the symbol of like defiance against an immortal lord who seemed all but unbeatable. I don't know. There's a lot of powerful symbolism in the idea of something that once was brought about through pain coming back and becoming a source of hope.
それまではね、置いていかれたことを寂しく思いながら、その傷を抱えながら、
Yeah.
同時にありがとうって感謝して毎日を生きていかなきゃ。そうしたら苗がダルニャンと再会したみたいにまたばったりどこかで会えるかもしれないでしょ。
Yeah.
天国にいるお父さんとも会えるかな。
Oh.
会えるよ、きっと。
Romeo looks straight into my eyes and says this decisively.
どう？私の目は嘘をついているように見える？うん。ルミホお姉ちゃんは嘘をついてる。
Dang.
でも優しい嘘だね。
Aww.
でしょ？ダルニャンもきっと嘘ついてる。男の人って嘘をつくのが下手だから、私、苗の話を聞いて簡単に見抜けちゃった。
Okay. I was saying before, he doesn't need that much money for that stuff. Maybe he will give himself a treat, but he probably just doesn't want her to realize or know what exactly he's doing. Romeo smiles mischievously.
同人誌を買いに行かせたりとか、教えた電話番号を間違えたとか、いちいち軽い言動とか、苗を巻き込みたくないって思ってるのがバレバレだよ。
Oh, yeah. He probably gave her the wrong number so that he could vanish and just leave her and that she wouldn't be able to contact him.
そうなの？ダルニャンは苗がその黒服の人たちに捕まっちゃった時のことを考えてたんじゃないかな。もし番号を知ってたら、苗もダルニャンの仲間だと思われて、いろいろひどいことをされてたかもしれない。
Yeah.
だから、あえて間違った番号を教えた。私の推測でしかないけどね。
I honestly would believe it. Daru has been obtusely ridiculous, even though he's definitely like wading full bore into like the mess of it. He's found Yuki by this point in the story, so him being so ridiculous, it definitely seemed a little too much. So I could believe this. I could believe this, even if it's not true. I really think I could believe this. I see. So he might have done it on purpose. Is it because he doesn't trust me? Or because he wants to protect me? Or is it whatever I decide it is?
もしかして、ひょっこりラボに行ってみたら、まだ一人でタイムマシンを作ってるかもしれないよ。私はどうしたらいいの？もしダルおじさんがそう思ってるなら、やっぱりもうお父さんのビルには行かない方がいいんだよね。当事者にはどうやってもなれないままなんだ。
No, you can make yourself get involved. He didn't push you away completely. He still let you help. But he needs you to know that, like, he can't let you get super involved. そうね。今回に関しては、私もダルニャンの考えと同じよ。京馬もダルニャンも、まっとうな人生を捨ててやろうとしていることがあるみたいだから。でも、苗、あなたは違う。お父さんが望んだ通り、これからも普通に生きていってほしい。少なくとも、今はね。今は、
そう。今はまだ、苗は傍観者のままでいなさい。いつかあなたも当事者として決断を迫られる時が来る。でも、それはまだ先。
Right. I wonder if this could be the future, though, where she goes completely psychotic. You know, eventually she becomes kind of a psychopath and literally kills Okabe. I wonder if that's where this ends up. Would that be insane to know if that's what actually, like, if this is the foundation of that like insanity, is a deep desire, a feeling left behind?
あ、でも傍観者だからって関わり合いになっちゃダメだなんてことはないんだよ。
Right.
え？
After saying this, Rumio stands up from the bed. She gently strokes my head again.
お姉ちゃんの話はこれでおしまいにゃ。あとは自分で考えて行動するにゃ。
Right.
中学生ならそれくらいできるにゃ。
Mm-hmm.
お姉ちゃん。
Oh, someone's hungry. There's suddenly a growl from inside me. That reminds me, I haven't eaten since lunch.
お夜食作ってあげるから、まずはお風呂に入ってくるにゃ。
When I stand up, I give Rumio a hug.
ありがとう。
Aww.
これくらいお安いご用にゃ。
Best big sister ever. What should I do? That's up to me. Alright, the next day. I leave home earlier than usual and head to Dad's building before school. I have no idea if Daru will be there or not, but that doesn't matter compared to being able to take stock of my own feelings. However, you know, I had a feeling this was gonna happen. I wonder how long he's been here. Before I could do that, I encountered a very large butt.
誰かそこにいるん？だったら悪いんだけど、僕のこと押すか引っ張るかしてくんない？
Oh my gosh, how long have you been here?
台無しだ。
There goes that idea.
おう。さてはそこにいるのはなえちゃん氏ですな。もう来ないと思ってたお。
Maybe she'd be like, how about I just decide I'm hungry. I'll be back in an hour. Daru's fat legs are flailing around.
いつから引っかかってたの？
そろそろ8時間くらい経つんじゃね？
Oh my gosh, you maniac.
近くに奴らがいるかもしれんから大声出して助けを呼ぶわけにもいかないっしょ、ジョコ。
Yeah, no, you... What is...
ナイちゃん氏やオカリンを呼び出そうにも携帯はズボンのポケットに入ってるからさ、この状態じゃ取り出せんわけで。
Right.
このまま誰も来なかったら数日後には干物になってた予感。あまりに惨めな死に方すぎて全俺が泣いた。
I'm sure you did. I wonder what would have happened if I didn't drop by first thing in the morning.
しょうがないな。ダルおじさんは私がいないと何にもできないんだから。
You're so helpless. I wonder why. Yesterday I hated Daru so much, I felt so frustrated. But after seeing him like this now, all his bad feelings vanished without a trace.
いいから早く押すなり引っ張るなりプリーズ。
Please!
そろそろお腹のあたりの痛みが限界っつうか。あとトイレ行きたい。
Oh,
ナ
I'm
イちゃん
sure
氏
you
が看護
do.
師さんみたいに世話してくれるならこの体勢でもできるけど。
嫌です。
Yeah, no, not happening. I can't believe that this guy would actually do what Rumio said yesterday. Even now, I can only seriously think of him as a dirty old man. After rescuing Daru, I descended down to Dad's store alone. I sit in the chair that he always sat in. I close my eyes, and I face my own heart. What does Nai want? Thinking back, the last time I spent full days in this store was 2 years ago when Rumio came to take me home with her. When I close my eyes, that summer is the only thing that comes to mind. Until then, I didn't really want to visit this dark, dusty store. I'd loved my dad, but the store had this weird atmosphere. I don't really like CRT TVs either. It always feels like something scary will appear on them. But that summer was different. This building was so lively and exciting. I had fun spending time here. So naturally, I kept coming to visit. Aww. Aww. Did I tell you guys? We finished Steinsgate, my wife and I. And I did ask her, I said, I was just like, so who was your favorite character in all of Steinsgate? And she said, without even a second thought, she's like, Mayuri. I was like, that's so odd. It's so fitting. It's so fitting. She loved Mayuri in Steinsgate, and she really loved Mayuri in Steinsgate 0. She loved the Kagari connection. I think she loved how Mayuri was like the linchpin in finding Steinsgate. Like, she loved all of it. She was always so lighthearted and warm. Just seeing her face made me happy, and whenever I have her a big joyful hug, she would gently stroke my head. I think whenever I gave her, I'm guessing, is what it meant. Aww. Mayuri was always eating something and always sharing it with me. I think she said her favorite food was fried chicken. Aww. She's
Oh, Nae, 今日も来たのか。
Aww. Dad was always in the store. The part-time girl always seemed to have free time. I really liked the part-time girl's easygoing air.
おい、バイト。うちの娘に変な挨拶を教えるんじゃねえ。
だったら椎名真由里のトゥットゥルーもダメなんじゃないの？
Yeah.
あれもあれで問題だな。一体どういう意味があんだ？
It doesn't mean anything. It's just cute.
さあ。でも可愛いよ。
Yeah. Nah, he knows.
そうかそうか。可愛いか。だったら別に使ってもいいんだぞ。
お父さん、トゥットゥルー。
おトゥルットゥ
That might be my favorite audio clip right there. It's just him trying to do the
店長ってほんと娘に甘いね。
Of course, because she's the best thing in the planet.
そんなに甘いなら、ナイに自転車買ってあげればいいのに。
そりゃダメだ。自転車乗ってもし転んだりしたらどうするんだ。大怪我しちまうだろうが。
Oh, boy.
お父さん、過保護すぎだよ。
なえ、いいか？中学になったら買ってやる。それまでは我慢しろ。
I getcha. Occasionally, there would be a loud banging from the ceiling, and it'd make Daddy really mad.
なんだ？また2階の連中騒いでんのか？たく、落ち着きのねえ奴らだな。そろそろ本気で追い出してやろうか。
He always said that.
追い出すなんて白状だよ。
なんだおめえ、岡部たちの肩を持つのか。
ちょっと騒がしくするのぐらいさ、見逃してあげてよ。あの人たちは今、世界の命運に関わる重要な使命に従事してるんだからさ。
She's absolutely right.
ダメだこりゃ。バイトもすっかり岡部に毒されちまったが。
Daddy would always scowl at the noise from the floor above. He got mad about and threatened to kick them out over and over again. But to me, it never looked like he was serious about it. In the end, he'd always rub his shiny head with his hand and say,
だくし しょうがねえな。こっちに一発で許してやるか。
Aww, what a big heart. He said this over and over again with the same gentle smile every time. I'd liked the place, where Daddy was, where the part-time girl was, where the lively lab mems were on the floor above. Though I was too scared to ever talk to Uncle Okarin and Uncle Daru directly, my memories of that summer are fun ones. Here in this building, that was way more fun than waiting for Dad back at home. Fetch. I opened my eyes. I'm back in the workshop, left neglected for 2 years. Aww. This is bad. I'm tearing up again. Back then, behind all of the feelings of fun, had lots of people protecting me. None of them are left now. But when I close my eyes, it's like they've jumped back in time. I feel as though I can hear everyone's voices. Everyone's watching over me. I dry my tears and try to hold my head up high. Ooh. When I go up to the lab, Daru is sitting on the sofa, looking tired.
姉ちゃん氏、学校は大丈夫なん？
I check the time. It's past 8 a.m. And we get a mail. Mako-chan. Nai-chan, are you at morning practice? I overslept and just got to school now. Let me guess. Yamanaka senpai super mad? Could you apologize for me? Nope, I'm not there. I'll definitely be late going from here.
たまに遅刻するぐらい平気。
ふーん。
ダルおじさん。
お
私、昨日はあんなこと言ったけど、やっぱり手伝っていいかな。
Right.
何にも教えてくれなくていいから。それでもせめて、お父さんのテレビを直すのだけは、やらせてほしい。
Sounds good. Daru can't repair the 42-inch Braun tube TV. That's something that only I can do. Because my body's small, because I'm a child. Because Daddy taught me how to repair it.
だから、お願いします。
I bow my head.
そんなことより腹が減りすぎて死にそうなわけだが。
You'll be fine.
悪いけどないちゃん氏、ちょっと買い出し行ってきてくんない？学校遅刻してもいいんでしょ？
ああ。
Yeah.
主に水、2リットルのペットボトル10本は欲しい。体拭くのにもトイレにも飲み水にも使うからすぐなくなるっつうか。
Right, sure.
どうかお願いします。僕のことビンタしてくれてもいいから。
You show your
む
face.
しろ我々の業界ではご褒美なので僕は一向に構わん。むしろ僕の体をきれいに拭きたい。いいですとも。JC に介護されるなら死んでもいいよ。
Right. I didn't say anything about that.
ダルおじさんって変態だね。
Yeah, you are.
変態じゃないよ。変態紳士だよ。
そうですか。
I have no idea what he means. It looks like I didn't need to beg though. Daru still considers me a collaborator. Part of me felt relieved of that. By the way, there's no way I can carry 10 2-liter bottles of water, so I only bought 2. Makes sense. I focus on my work in silence, pushing all unnecessary thoughts from my mind. I've gotten pretty used to soldering. The work itself isn't exactly difficult. For the past 2 days, Daru's been working hard on the second floor too. Down on the first floor though, I can't hear his voice or even sense his presence. A few days ago, this probably would have made me uneasy and I'd go up to the second floor to check on him. But right now, I don't feel any anxiety. I know very well that Daru can't get out of here by himself. It's like he's put himself under house arrest. It's strange. 2 years ago, Dad would have repaired TVs in the store every day, and I would watch. Back then, I didn't think that I would ever follow in his footsteps. But here I am now, repairing a CRT TV just like he would. Even though I don't think I'm ready to get this store up and running again by myself. I'm just happy that, without even realizing it, I had inherited something that Daddy left behind. Oh, fetch! Is it gonna turn on? I soldered the last spot. I can't make too much noise, so I had to hold back my urge to shout and pump my fist in victory instead. My work is done. The question is, will the 42-inch TV work now that I resoldered it? Only if we're lucky. Still, please, I'm begging you to work. Yes? I put the disassembled 42-inch bronze tube TV back together. The circuit board goes back into its original location. And I don't forget to tighten the screws. Putting it back together took over an hour. Okay. Moment of truth. I think it's back to how it was before. I don't have any leftover screws or anything. Should be fine. Probably. I call up the hole leading to the second floor.
Daru-oji-san!
I immediately hear footsteps and Daru's face appears.
どうしたん？
修理、終わった。
Yes.
おお、で、着いた？
これから試すところ。
Okay.
じゃ、やろう。
Come on. What should I do? I'm getting nervous. If it doesn't work, everything I've done up until now will be meaningless. No, it wouldn't be meaningless, but it would feel that way for sure. Uncle Daru wouldn't be able to send any D-mail. My heart's racing. I take a deep breath. I give Daru the signal with my eyes. Then I plug the power cord into the socket. And I press the power button on the 42-inch TV. Oh my gosh! Yes! The screen lights up, though all of it shows is static. In that moment, I felt so happy I could jump for joy. That's all you need. I can't help but look over at Daru.
なえちゃんし、Good job! さすがシスターブラウンだお。
Yeah. It turned on. It worked, Daddy. I'm glad. I've done everything I can to help. I managed to see it through to the end. For about 2 hours afterwards. Ooh. Yeah, okay, we'll go a little longer. For about 2 hours afterwards, there's nothing else to do. I watched Daru type on his computer keyboard over his shoulder. I have no idea what the programming languages on the screen means. It's like a secret code or a magic spell. But Daru's hands haven't stopped moving for a long time. Rumio. Lady Alice, if you meet a fat white rabbit, please tell him this, Nyan. Let's face off in RealNet AB again. I'll be waiting for you. Also say hi to Kilma. Thanks. Aww. She should totally tell him that. He'd love it. He told me earlier that once he finishes the programming, the time machine will be complete. I'm only watching, but my heart's been beating fast the whole time. I thought time machines only existed in manga and movies. Yeah, right here, right now, I'm about to see one complete with my own eyes. There's no way I can ever tell my friends about this. With one big final tap on the keyboard, Daru stops. It's like he's a pianist.
ミッションコンプリート。
Oh boy. Alright, that's where we're going to end for today. Mission complete. The time machine is back. And we're going to find out what on earth they're going to do next. And I'm sure this is about to explode into chaos too. Something's going to happen. But I'm excited. Something tells me next episode might be the last one. So, we'll buckle up for that. What a good episode. This one was really fun. Definitely had a lot of like my, powwow moment, but I think that's still really cool. I think I'd love to know what your thoughts were about this, specifically about like, I don't know. How do you get past like the things that people do out of love that hurt you? Like everyone's had that happen to them at some point. They're like, maybe not to the extent of Nye, obviously, or anything in Steinsgate, but I think we've all had it happen before. Like, it could be simple things like punishments parents gave us to help us, like, learn from a mistake we made. Maybe even, like severe punishments for something we did in our youth when we were in trouble. I never got into too much trouble, but I do know that my parents would have done whatever it took to keep me safe and to help me learn and grow, even if it ended up hurting. But have there been ever any big lessons that you had to learn the hard way, but that like now that you've kind of maybe stepped away from it, you can see the wisdom and like the love that was within that those decisions that were made? obviously it's not good to be hurt by people we care about, and it's not good to hurt others intentionally, but you can also really see how Nai was being protected, how Daru was trying to prevent her from getting caught up in things without understanding, like by not like letting her understand enough, by preventing her and insulating her. I mean, insulation is a good like comparison for this. Like, people we love sometimes get insulated from the more dangerous things. I would say people who do things like serve in the military are effectively trying to do that. They are trying to insulate their loved ones and fight on their behalf. Whatever the motivations of military action, like the inherent built-in desire to like want to fight in the names of the ones we love is usually the core and backbone of those who choose to serve. And rarely do they have any say in the actions and the motivations of, well, I've said, military bodies, but the motivations for being a part of them are usually very wholesome. So I have to and always will respect that. And the same goes for people who serve in police, firefighters, these groups. Like, especially with police lately, like, you can definitely scrutinize and have a lot of problems with the systems that they can be involved in. But 90% of the time, people become somebody like a police officer with the intention of trying to protect, serve, and support their friends, neighbors, and just everyone. You don't become a police officer usually to try and like become part of like a tyrannical dictatorship or like a fascist regime. It's usually motivated by a simple desire to help. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And of course, anything else you want to say, I'd love to hear from you. Again, check out the Discord if you want to see more updates and you know, kind of follow more like post-game, post-episode conversations and get a glimpse of what's happening. If you want to be more involved in the channel, join the Patreon. You get some good perks. Gonna Patreon cast, gonna be starting very, very soon. You're also gonna get opportunities to help me select some of the games that we cover specifically on Fridays, which are a lot more open-ended, but more focused on smaller titles that are being covered by either brand new developers or games that just don't get a lot of attention normally. It'd be really fun to have you be a part of that and to let you be involved in some of like the behind the scenes stuff that's going on. But yeah, let me know if you have any of that interest in that. And of course, it's just a pleasure having you here. Thank you for spending the time here. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel, supporting it. That's really all that matters, is helping, is just sharing these stories with you. That's all that makes me so happy, that there's nothing I could ask more from you. So thank you. And until the next video you're watching me, I will see you next. I'll see you there.